Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Charley Hall. I'm the Cumberland County Coroner, and I just wanted to give you an update on the investigation into the fire on Monday. But first, I would like to say a few words about our first responders. Too often they are taken for granted, and especially the volunteer first responders. I mean, a lot of people volunteer for their church and their schools and whatever, but it takes someone special to volunteer to be a firefighter and run into fires and try to save people. They're volunteers. I mean, and that says a lot about the person. And they give their time, they give their all, and in some cases, like this case, they give the ultimate sacrifice. And I'd just like to thank all the first responders for everything they do. And when we have to investigate the death of a first responder, it's one of our own, and it makes it tough. We did the autopsy today on both people, and I wanted to give you an update on their cause of death. Mr. Guise, his cause of death is listed as asphyxia, smoke inhalation, and thermal burns. And Jessica Diehl's cause of death is smoke inhalation and thermal burns. Well, the asphyxiation, the weight of the roof that collapsed on Fireman Guise, he couldn't breathe. I mean, he was breathing, but he couldn't expand and contract his chest like in a normal manner because of all the weight on his chest. So he ended up asphyxiating. Well, he's breathing in smoke and soot, and you know, that's what your carboxy hemoglobin goes through the roof from the carbon monoxide and so forth from the fire, and that's what ultimately causes the death. The body's actually burning. I mean, the fire gear protected him quite well, but still, all that heat and all that weight and everything, you know, he's going to have burns. She died of smoke inhalation mainly. I mean, she had some burns on her because she was trying to get out, and the fire was extremely hot and extremely burning. Where she was found in the residence ultimately indicated she was trying to get out. He was right at the stairway where the stairway would have been. Of course, the stairway wasn't there anymore when we got there, but you know, well, all autopsies are rough, you know, but when they involve first responders and innocent people that get trapped in fires, it's, you know, more difficult. Well, we had limited information at the scene because the husband was taken to the hospital before we got there. But based on what he told first responders before we got there, we had a general idea where she might be. But it was very difficult to locate her because, number one, the structure wasn't sound enough to go inside and look. And number two, we had some conflicting stories because she had a broken ankle or a broken leg. And we were told she normally sleeps in the recliner on the first floor. And then the husband who was taken to the hospital said she woke him up, said she smelled smoke, which was on the second floor. So we looked, you know, the best we could, and then we finally found her on the second floor. She did not have a cast on. I think she wore one of those walking boots when she was walking, but she was using one of those knee scooters to, you know, get around. She woke him up saying she smelled smoke. It is my understanding he left the building and couldn't get back in. The fire spread that quickly. I can't say it's unusual. Fires can strike at any time. We're just having a very busy year in Cumberland County this year. Like I say, you know, I've been involved with police officers being killed in line of duty, firefighters being killed in line of duty, and it just rips your heart out because, you know, I came from a law enforcement career and now I'm the coroner, so we're all family and it just tears you up.
We're hanging in there. It's tough. I mean, it's truly a brotherhood. I mean, people come together in times of need like this, and especially the fire service. And we're helping each other out, so it's important to have that in families right now. It really didn't hit me. I mean, there was just so much going on yesterday after the call, just getting ready for everything. It really didn't hit me until I actually sat at home. I wanted a nice tea, sit at home, watched a little TV, and I started going through Facebook. First I really got time to look at it and just see everything that was out there. That's when it started hitting me. It's just sad. I mean, he was a longtime friend, longtime member of the department. Watched him come up from young. When he was 17, he joined. So I'm the actual one that found him. Found that he was underneath the roof. And then I seen him probably a minute before that outside spraying water into the outside of the building from the front of the house. I went around back, and by the time I got back around front, I couldn't go around back because there was a fence up there. So by the time I came around back, I noticed I didn't see him anymore, and the roof was collapsed. When I first noticed him, he was back a little bit from the porch, kind of like near the steps area, so he probably maybe stepped in a little bit to get a better angle. But there was no interior attack, though, being done. It was all defensive outside. The amount of fire that was in the house, it was not livable inside, so we weren't going to send firefighters in to try to do a rescue. Well, I mean, when we first, I was the actual third one there. It was actually in Monroe Township, and that's overseen by the Monroe Township Fire Chief, Dave Heckard. He was first on the scene. Since it's right outside our jurisdiction, our engine from the Boiling Spring Station, where Jerome lives at, was the first fire engine that was there, and I pulled in right after them. And there was fire emerged out of every window of that house. And as we mentioned earlier about being an old log cabin, they're built a lot heavier, and they hold the heat in. They don't fail as quick, so it's really hot inside. At that point, I don't even think the command was even given, because firefighters training, no, you're not going to go in that house. It's not a survivable environment, and we're not going to risk going in something like that, which we wouldn't have been able to make it in either with the heat that was coming out of it. Well, for a while we weren't sure. When we rescued him, it took I think a little under like 10 minutes to get him out from the roof, and we handed him over to EMS, and they started their CPR to try to bring him back, and then it was probably about 10 minutes till we knew that they called it, and he was passed away. Anytime there's a Mayday call, we call for a second alarm right away, because a lot of the firefighters that are on the first alarm are involved in the rescue to try to get the firefighter out. So we need the second alarm for extra manpower to continue to contain the fire. So at that point, once we got him out, we pulled all our members from the Citizens Fire Company back and just left the other firefighters manage the fire. We just stood back and just consoled each other, because we knew it was bad. We always fall back on our training, and that usually keeps us safe. I mean, what we do is definitely a risk. We do take a balance on the risk and reward when we're fighting a fire. And Jerome's probably mind that morning, he probably thought it was no big deal walking under that porch, putting the fire out in the windows, not knowing that the roof, a porch roof like that, they do collapse sometimes, but it's not common. They collapse like they did. So it was wood. It had a tin roof. Because another thing we kind of managed when we were trying to get him out, the roof when the thing was electrified, and myself and one of our other members got shocked about trying to move the roof, pick it up. It was just enough to give you a tingle. It wasn't like the electrocuting type shock. So we had 2 injuries at the fire other than the firefighter. One firefighter was transported in. He had an ankle injury. And another one of my firefighters, he went in after, when he was shocked on the roof, he had some tingling in his arm. He went in and got checked out, but they're both home now and doing fine. Early detection is the most important, and by what I mean early detection is a smoke detector. I mean, home sprinklers, yes, is the best, but at the minimal, early detection, smoke detectors in every floor, in every hallway, in every bedroom. You can't buy enough of them for a house. No. And normally, I mean, we go in a place, we can hear them. If we're fighting a fire, we can hear smoke detectors going off if the place isn't well involved. But this place, it was well involved. They had melted and malfunctioned when we arrived. Just everybody, the community, the municipalities, the police, the state police have been nothing but the best. I mean, the best comes out of people at times like this, and it shows. I mean, it really has. Just the food, the support, everything we're getting is really touching. And today coming back, I mean, coming back from Dauphin County, but it really hit home when we were driving into Holly, seeing everybody standing out and the support for Jerome.
I mean, you can't say enough for the volunteers. I mean, they do this free gratis just because they want to serve their community, protect their community, and save lives.